Hello everybody, welcome to a new video on the Mind Gaming channel. This is Player 1's modding tutorials, and today we are going to be making an item. So to start off, we're going to need to create a new package. Once IntelliJ loads, just give it a second, there we go. And now we're going to want to create a new package, and we're going to call this registration. Then we're going to want to create a new class in here called mod items. And we're also going to want to create a package called util, and in here we will create a class called deferred handler. So I'll show you what these are for, but first of all, let's focus on mod items. So we're going to be using deferred registry. So we're going to create a public static final deferred register. And it's going to be a deferred register of items. So go ahead and do that. And we're going to call this items. And that is going to equal not a new deferred register that's deprecated. We're going to say deferred register.create, and we're going to say forge registries dot items, because we're doing items and our mod ID from before. You know, the mod ID, of course, whatever you chose. Mine is RTM. Now that you've done this, it's time to create your item. I'm going to create a public static final registry object of item, and we're going to call this whatever item you want. So I'm going to call it item test item, and this is going to equal it should be items dot register, and then the registry name. This will not be the actual name of the item. This is going to be without spaces, all lowercase. So we're going to call this the test item. And then we're going to want to add a supplier with the actual item. So we're going to go ahead and start our supplier. But then we are going to want to create our item class, because we may want to do something special with it in the future. So we're going to create items, and we're going to create a class called test item. And it is going to extend item. And basically, we're going to want to go ahead and we're going to get rid of properties here, and instead we're going to super with new properties, and we're going to say dot, and so we're going to, what should I do? I think I'm going to give it a rarity dot epic, just because. And you don't have to do any of it, just eventually we're going to use it for putting it in a creative tab. Now we're going to go back to mod items, and we're going to make a new one of our test item. And yeah, we can actually do test item : new. So, and now we want to go to our deferred handler. This is what this is for. We're going to create a public static void register, and basically what this is going to do is we're going to say mod items dot register, and this is actually going to take in an event bus as a bus, and items.register, we're just going to register it to the bus. This will be useful when we have more of our stuff. But now let's move on to texturing this item and giving it its actual name. So let's go to resources and let's create a folder just called, for instance, let's just call, we need to call it assets. And we need to create a folder that's equal to our mod ID, so RTM. And now we're going to make models. We're going to make a bunch of different folders. So we're also going to create textures and make sure it's not in models. We're going to want to drag this not into, we are not going to want to drag this into models. We're just going to want to put it in assets RTM. So we now just have models and textures. And then we're also going to want to create lang, like language, because it's language. And then for models, we're going to want to create our test underscore item or whatever the registry name was, .json. Now that we got this here, we're going to say parent item / generated. And then we're going to say a textures, and then we're going to say textures. Here's a and then we're going to want to say layer 0, no space. And we're going to set this layer 0 thing to our mod ID colon and item / the registry name. We'll see where this comes in later. But now we're going to want to create a new directory in models called item, and for the later tutorials we're also going to create block, and I'm going to drag test item into item. Now that we have that, let's go to textures, and let's just start with the file. Well, let's actually begin with the folder. So we're going to make item in textures, and we're also going to make a block. But again, we're going to want to make sure that block is not in item. So now that we got this, we're going to want to create a pixel texture. So let's go ahead and open paint.net. And let's see the thumbnail. But basically we're going to want to create a new 16 by 16 image. And we're going to want to zoom in with Control+++. And I'll link paint.net in the description, along with linking Minecraft development plugin and IntelliJ. So right here, we are first going to want to create a new layer and remove this white background layer so it's clear. And now we're going to want to create our item in pixels. So this text item is just going to be maybe some kind of gold orb or something. I don't know. But it may be like some kind of golden orb. You can do whatever you want. Some kind of cyan thing around it. Erase this. And erase these singular pixels. And go ahead and add like some kind of a gem in the middle. Pencil. There we go. I think that's good enough for a test item. And now we're going to want to save this to the desktop, encoding, or wherever. We're going to want to go to our modding, our tutorial mod. Okay, I think I put it in the wrong directory. It may end up in apps, but I'll move it for the next tutorial. We're going to do source main resources, and guess what? Assets RTM dot textures item, and now we're going to want to name this to our registry name. So test item .png. I'm going to save this. I'm going to hit OK. And now that it's saved, we can go ahead and close Paint.net. And now that we've got this item, let's go ahead and give it the end user name. So now let's go ahead and add enus for English US.json in lang. We're going to want to add now we're going to want to add item.rtm whatever the registry name was. And we're just going to call this test item. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and load up our game. But after this, I completely forgot a pretty important step. And do not run your client right now. I forgot a pretty important step. Let me go ahead and stop run client, because I forgot a pretty important step. After you register all of this, you want to say deferred handler .register fml java mod loading context .get mod event bus. Now you can save and run your client. Now let's just wait till this loads up. If you don't put deferred handler.register, nothing will happen. And you want it to work. So, yeah. Let's just wait. Yep. Let's just go ahead and wait. Come on. Looks like scanning mod files. It's all working. Just wait. Okay. It looks like soon we'll be launching Minecraft, and I'll be able to create a test world. So, okay, Minecraft, go ahead and load. Okay, Minecraft, go ahead and load your stuff. So now we have Minecraft loaded up, and as you see, our mod is still here. But we're going to go to select world, and we're just going to create a new world. We'll just call this test, make it creative, a default world. And let's go ahead and let this load. Now, our item will not currently be in any creative tabs. And we will cover creative tabs after we test this item. So if Minecraft would go ahead and please load the world for me. There we go. Yeah, there. Let's go ahead and load in. And we're here. So now that we're in our world, so it's not in any creative tabs yet. So we're gonna say /give@s, and we should see that it exists. So if I go ahead and give myself this test item, here it is, and because of the rarity, it has a purple name. So we now have a test item, and this is a test item that we'll be experimenting with over time. But for now, let's try and get this in the creative inventory. So that involves creating our own creative tab, which is actually pretty simple. What you're going to want to do is in registration, we're going to want to create a new class called mod tabs. Now this one will not actually use our deferred register thing. Instead, we're going to create a public static class. Actually, we don't even have to. We can say public static final item group mod tab equals new item group, and we can just go ahead and do this. So on create item, we choose an item stack, so we can just say new item stack and then whatever item. I am actually going to use our test item as a thing for it. Now you're going to want to say .get because it's a registry object, and the item group, I believe it wants a label, doesn't it? Yeah, it does want a label. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say our mod ID dot mod underscore tab or whatever tab you're using. Now you're going to go into enus.json, and we're going to go ahead and add not item but item group dot rtm dot mod tab or whatever. And we're going to say tutorial mod. And now let's go ahead and go to our test item, and let's go ahead and add it to our item group, which all we'll have to do is we'll say mod tabs dot mod tab. And now let's go ahead and save and run our client. A new creative tab should now appear in the inventory. Let's just let this load. Come on, load. This should load in a second. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to say stuff again. I think effect instance is the last one that has to load before it starts going fast again. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And it's a bit there. Yes. And now we can go back into our test world and look for our new creative tab. Just give Minecraft a second to load the world. And there we go. Kind of looks like a face. But now we're in. And let's go ahead and go to our creative inventory, and we see that we've now got 2 pages. If I go here, we have our tutorial mod tab with our test item. Hope you enjoyed this modding tutorial, and next episode we will be working on a basic block. Bye!